Hi and welcome. We're going to take a look at the piece Dreaming Lake by the German composer Theodor Kirchner, and it's on Trinity's Grade 4 syllabus. It's actually from a group of 100 studies, Opus 71, and this is number 26 from that collection. I'm going to walk through it with both hands together, and we will encounter all sorts of things as we go through. I'm going slowly now, partly so that I can talk at the same time as I play the piano. So here we go. Mezzo forte to start, poco allegro ultimately is where we're heading. I like the second finger there because it's getting my hand ready for heading up towards the next chord. And a sense of the phrase dying away. And we're going to have 4 of these really short phrases. Each one with that sense of dying away, I think. But having died away, it's not marked in my score, I think we need to get back to the dynamic we were at before. Otherwise the whole thing's just going to get quieter and quieter, isn't it? Which I don't think is what we want here. And the last note of each phrase is short. Now here on this chord, for the left hand, I like the fingering because that enables me to get smoothly from C sharp to the D. But that won't suit everybody, and it may be that your hand finds that much more comfortable. And then the next phrase, I would start with a thumb, I think, because it means that we're ready to hit the D sharp, which comes as a shock, doesn't it? We sort of are expecting that. So the D sharp, when it comes, but it's very expressive, isn't it? It leads us to the E, and a sense of having arrived somewhere. And this piece is made up, the study is that sort of pattern, isn't it? And now that shape moves to the left hand. Same length of phrase, bit of contrapuntal motion there. Right hand moving up while the left hand is down. And then on this chord, I've redistributed the notes, certainly from my edition. I'm taking those 2 in the left hand, leaving the right hand to do, let's start with the third on the G sharp, with a great sense of that being the centre, the important thing, dying away to that. And then a similar phrase here, similar fingering I'm doing, so 2 notes in the left hand. Keeping that left hand really smooth. Hold on to the D sharp. And this bit is slightly pulling back on the tempo, isn't it? A bit of a lean on the first beat of the bar. Ooh. Ooh. That's a very spooky chord, isn't it? It's creating tension. It's an augmented 6th, a French augmented 6th chord. Quick blast of music theory. This is not grade 4 friendly, it's beyond that, but hey, we're in A minor, aren't we? That's the tonic, that's the dominant. The note above the dominant is an F. Intervals. F to D is a major 6th. F to D sharp, therefore, is an augmented 6th. That's how the chord gets its name, augmented 6th. For a French augmented 6th, these are the other 2 notes in it. And typically, that F wants to fall to an E, doesn't it? Which will take us back to A minor. Or it could go to A minor, to the dominant chord, to the tonic chord. It creates a great sense of something needs to happen. You couldn't You couldn't end a piece on that, could you? And it creates the I need to stop. But it's going to create tension because those two notes are next door to each other. F and E flat, but if I put them, but let's just move things up an octave. F and E flat are also next door to each other. So two groups of notes next door to each other, which go to an E dominant seventh chord, which resolves, finally, to our tonic, our A minor. Enough of that. Tension through a French augmented sixth. Now in this next chunk, it's the left hand that's got this pattern that is so much a feature of this study. Back to the right tempo, although I'm not doing that here. Up an octave for the left hand. And on that spread chord, it's definitely the top A that needs to be on the beat. Which means that A is before it. And that's because the melody is... So it needs to be on the beat. The melody is not. And I would definitely lean into that phrase. And I like this left hand to do a 2, 3, 2, 3, because it makes me do the phrasing correctly. Yeah. Now for scales in octaves, the default thinking is that the fourth finger plays black keys, fifth finger plays white keys. It isn't always like that, and there'll be times where we don't, but that's a good starting point. And that does hold true for this bit. So, fourth finger, fifths, fourth. Could you play your A minor scale? Let's do natural minor because that's all the white notes. Let's come down because... Could I do a chromatic scale? Fourth, fourth, fifth, fourth, fifth. You get the idea. So you'll need to drill that a little bit to get those shapes, those octaves comfortable. Whilst the left hand is doing its ripply, its rolly thing. Yeah, the right hand has one phrase going through that, but the left has two. Difficult to sync all that up. And I overdid the lifting of the hand to make myself think, okay, I've got to make sure that there's a gap there. Listen out to check they really are together, and then count the rest carefully before dying away. Staccato chord there before we go and grab our perfect cadence, chord 5, which goes to chord 1. And I think that's a spot where we could use a bit of pedal so that there's no gap between those two chords. Without the pedal, I'm going to have to jump the thumb. Not that it's a huge deal, but I would certainly use the pedal, and I did in the performance video I made. And on those final chords, make sure they're absolutely together. If, in thinking quietly, we think we need to press slowly, that's when you can get that kind of not quite together. So still push quickly, but gently to create that quiet effect. And ever so slight, possibly slowing up at the end or not. And the last chord is relatively short. Don't linger on it too much. There's a lot in this piece. It's about this rotation thing, isn't it? Let's take chords 1, 4, 5, 1. Chord 1. 1. Chord 4 is a D minor. And chord 5 is an E. I'm thinking melodic minor there. Could both hands do it together? Bit of pedal? Why not? Create an exercise. D minor. E. Could I play a tune over the top of it? Have a bit of fun trying out that same fingering or same notes or all sorts of patterns you could create to develop your finger strength and independence and be creative at the same time. It's a great piece. Thank you very much to Paul and Ellie for suggesting this. I'm delighted you're learning this one. It's great to look beyond the normal syllabus and look at all the alternative pieces that are on offer as well. I hope you enjoyed learning this one. Take care. Bye-bye and best wishes.